Yeah. Yeah, like what if I like the Ready Player One example, let's say it was like making a series.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Between Realities. We are so excited to have you here with us today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Alex. I am joined here by my co-host, Skiva. How the hell are you, sir?
I'm great, man. It's Between Realities Friday, so I am stoked.
That it is.
Stoked.
That it is. And hello to everyone in the chat. I'm going to spare you all the typical chat rundown because we are on a little bit of a time crunch today. We have a guest waiting in the wings who has graciously offered to come on the show today, but not for the entire 90 minutes. So we're going to get started as soon as we can. This guy knows his shit when it comes to VR. Here's the book right here, The History of the Future, Oculus, Facebook, and the Revolution That Swept Virtual Reality. Today we have the author of this book on the show. Please welcome to Between Realities, Mr. Blake J. Harris.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I should clarify that I know my shit for a very specific scope of time in the story. And then also, sadly, it's been a couple of years since I wrote it, so I'm sure I'm no longer the expert I once was, but thanks for having me on. That book is, I said at the time, I still think it's true, the most important thing I'll ever write. It was a very rewarding, though exhausting thing to write, and I'm happy to be on and talk to you guys.
Dude, I got to tell you, I love to listen to audiobooks. I've done a lot of drive time where I listen to books, and I often get in that place where I'm like, I get to where I'm going and I'm like, oh, I need to get back to this book as soon as possible. And that rarely ever happens with anything that is nonfiction, right? But this book grabbed me and I could not wait. Like, I'd get out of my car and I'd just put my headphones on. I could not wait to see what was going to happen. Like, the way you made me feel like I was taking part of the history of everything that was happening. Like, I was in the room with you and Palmer Luckey and Mark Zuckerberg, and like, it just blew my mind. I feel like this someday should be picked up by Hollywood for a movie. I'm just saying.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad to hear you say that, because that was very intentional. Not the movie part necessarily, but I really want. I spend years interviewing these people for these books that I do, and it's so exciting for me to hear them because they're telling it to me like they're in the room and I could see it in their eyes, like they're back in time. And of course, I have to distill that, but I want the readers or the listeners to feel like I do. And it was such a fascinating story. I think that with most nonfiction, personally, I like to know only what the characters know at the moment. So like so Palmer Luckey shouldn't know, it shouldn't be written as if he knows how the story is going to end, that he's going to be ousted from the company when he's starting this thing and being super excited. And so I'm glad that it resonated the way that it did. Early on, one of my initial pitches to Oculus in terms of just getting access was that, I said that when the book came out, or, which was going to be around the time initially of the TV1, I said that, player 1 will be ready, but my book is going to be for players 2 through mom, because I wanted this to be like a way to put names and faces to people who were like, what the hell is virtual reality? Why do I need virtual reality? What's this thing? And to put, to tell it through characters is, I thought, the best way to get my mom and other people interested in this technology.
Totally.
Nice.
I haven't finished the book yet, but I've dug into it a little bit, and they're like, when you're reading this story, like, it's interesting because we're talking about nonfiction, but then we say story, and like, it reads almost like a fiction novel in a way, like with the dialogue that takes place between characters. It's like, Zuckerberg, thought about it and then says this, and then, like Carmack responded, and like, it's like you're a fly on the wall while all of this stuff is happening. And that must have been quite a project, because when we're like retelling, oh yeah, dude, by the way, I bumped into so-and-so at a convention, you know what he told me? It's like all very like anecdotal, but when you present it, it's almost like you were there listening to the actual conversation. And I'm sure that you had to take some kind of creative liberties for some conversations here or there to kind of make that happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, that the hardest part is the structuring it and figuring out how to do that, because a lot of times you're right, like just in life, people will share anecdotes. They're not to a specific period of time. They're sort of inherently embellished, not better or worse, but just to be a little bit hyperbolic. And I've written 2 books, or I've published 2 books, and the first one was about Sega Nintendo in the early 90s, and there's very little historical record. There's no way anyone remembered exact dates for things. So I took more creative liberties with that, though I would never have done so if I didn't have the actual interview subjects to share the drafts with and make sure I was capturing it. But with the history of the future, especially because of how the story ended and the role that I think journalism played in the portrayal of Palmer Luckey and his eventual exit from Facebook, and I think that was very irresponsible. I really wanted to create a set of standards and be really meticulous about it. So in this case, I basically, I'm also a documentary filmmaker, so I did it the same way that I would do a documentary, where all the dialogue is verbatim things said to me by the people, though obviously sometimes they're talking to me if I ask them a similar question as a character would be asked in the book. But I wanted to be able to capture that dialogue because I think that's a big part of life, and capturing that energy from that time period. And then some of the more difficult things that were left on the cutting room floor were actually like interchanges that I thought were really fascinating and should be in the book, but I could never identify the exact day. And with this book, if I didn't know the exact day that something happened, I didn't want to put it in there because I didn't ever want, I wanted people to at least know that these conversations happened on that day. And so that was tough, but like so much, I'm just thinking about it compared to my first book, where it was a story about the early 90s versus now, where not only do we have documentation in the form of like cell phone videos with timestamps, but I throughout the process, I ended up getting access to like over 20,000 emails, especially from the start of Oculus. So
so you're just digging through these emails, like looking for information?
Yeah, it was. I remember it was like I spent 3 weeks going through like the first like major batch that I got, and it was like Christmas. I mean, it was like so nerdy, but like because it's like it's that way that you feel when you read the book, where Carmack and Palmer and Brendan are talking about some problem and they don't know the answer and they're trying to figure it out, or and there's even an example in the book where I wanted you to feel like very much how I felt, like explicitly with the Doom situation, when there's the issue with it and Oculus, and Doom, which was initially promised for DK1 Kickstarter backers, is going to be an issue because of the conflicts between the companies, and like how do you handle that from a PR standpoint? How do you keep your customers happy and be honest? And so I really got to see that all unfold, like email by email by email, and that was really fascinating.
That is amazing.
Wow. Yeah, that's super cool. Like to be that guy that gets to hang out, go through emails, record, and ask questions to some of the people that are so influential in our world. I mean, we're not even just talking about VR here, right? You got Mark Zuckerberg, who started Facebook, that's worth billions now, right? You got Palmer Luckey, who invented modern day VR. Mm-hmm. You got John Carmack, who started the 3D video game revolution, and that is now working on VR and artificial intelligence. I mean, these people are extremely smart. They're just amazing characters, and the way they come out in this book is really like that. They're just amazing characters that you can't even believe that these people are real. There's so much drama that happened during this book. I can't imagine, like, when you first thought you were going in to write this book, it must have been like, wow, this is going to be great. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk to these guys. Everything's going to go fantastic. The industry's going to blow up, and I'll be done with the book. But instead, you got some drama, some drizzy drama. So that,
for sure.
Were you even remotely prepared for the stuff that happened within Facebook and Oculus?
This is a really good question. Absolutely not. I was totally not prepared. As anyone who's read the book knows, or who's familiar with Palmer's exit from Oculus, like it swerves into politics a lot, and I have so little interest in politics. I especially have no interest in writing about politics. It's like probably the last thing I'd want to write. But my job is to go where the story takes me, even if it's the places that I'm not comfortable with or I don't feel like I'm qualified to write about it first. But that's why the book ended up taking me 4 years. My contract with my publisher was only for 2 years, so I took an extra 2 years because I had to follow that and also make sure that I was capable of doing this sort of investigative reporting. But yeah, like it was a real bummer too, because like you're talking about having these relationships with these people and having these conversations with them over years of time, and of course, everyone's memories change a little bit, and none of our memories are perfectly exact. That's why I try to triangulate all the information with multiple sources and documents. But the way that they thought about other members of this group because of the drama changed. There was a period of time where it was very valuable to people at Oculus / Facebook to talk about how wonderful Palmer was while he was still with the company. And then after he was gone, it made sense for them about how useless he was and that it was no big deal he was gone. And that was really sad for me to see, because from a PR standpoint, I get that. But from like a man-to-man human friendship standpoint, that was just really kind of devastating.
Oh, that is so sad, man. Like I would imagine it would be something like having, a couple best friend, right? And then they divorce, and then all of a sudden each, they're all talking crap about each other. So that really is sad, because these people are all, for lack of a better term, geniuses, like legit geniuses. Palmer Luckey is one of the smartest people from the time he was a little kid. This dude created this, the Oculus as we know it, in a trailer in his parents' driveway. Right. Like what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like, this dude was a legit genius, and then ended up hooking up with John Carmack. And for those who don't know, I guess Palmer gave some money to an anti-Hillary campaign, and made them pro-Trump or something.
Spoilers!
And because of that,
just kidding.
So for people who aren't familiar with it, Palmer donated a little bit less than $10,000 to a 501c organization that was pro-Trump, and their goal was to put up billboards, like I guess you could say meme-like billboards, which at the time and you know, they used some language like shit post, like, which back then, you know, people were like, oh my God, what's this word with profanity in it? This must be bigotry and terrible things. And that's not how I understood shit posting at the time. And I don't think that's how most people understand shit posting now.
Right.
But so the entire history of this organization is that they only ever put up one billboard of Hillary that said, too big to jail. It had a little bit of a caricature of Hillary's face. I voted for Hillary, by the way. I was not offended at all by this advertisement. But it was reported as if Palmer had funded this ultimate hate group, which was not true. And he ended up losing his job. But you're right. It was so much like being in the middle of a couple breaking up. And I remember having a conversation with, you know, one of those main characters that we've, you know, one of those like genius people that we've talked about. And they were saying that they wished that my book was not going to be written until 5 years later, so they would have time to process all of this. And I said, oh, look, I get where you're coming from. But I actually used the divorce analogy. And I said, from my standpoint, and I think even from the couple standpoint, it's actually more interesting to document it as it's happening, because 5 years from now, based on how things turn out, you know, if someone remarried, they'll be like, they'll have more fond memories because they're happier now. And I liked actually getting the in the moment look at what you know, how things were unfolding as they were actually unfolding. But it was difficult.
Details get lost. You know, it's like afterwards, you know, if you do wait that period, then you know you're remarried and you're like, oh yeah, you know, I got married. I was married for 8 years and then I got divorced. It's like, what? Like, there's 8 years there, you know, and a really brutal breakup. Like that's some juicy shit. So I think you were right to document that.
Absolutely, this is a super juicy book, and I feel like it's not just me being a nerd and being in love with VR. Like, this is legit good storytelling, and it's not even a fictional story. It's real life. Right. And the way it was captured, it's like watching a movie. And that's why I think it should become a movie.
Well, I would love to see it. And I've got a question because I've been eyeballing this book, right? And I see this cover. And I personally have come up with some theories myself as to if there's any symbolism or what this thing means. So I'm wondering if you want to reveal to us what this cover means, or if you want to hear my theory first.
I want to hear your theory first.
All right, so here's my theory. My theory is that, and if you can't see it, can you bring it up? An image of the...
Oh, yeah.
So here's the cover of the book. And from what I can see here, it's showing the tail of a big blue monster, right? And to me, this big blue monster represents Facebook and its hell-bent fucking destructive force, you know? It's like the big blue monster rolling in and destroying the town.
Like Godzilla?
Yeah, like Godzilla. Blue. Yeah, it's like, look out for this fucking big blue brutal monster. So am I right?
Well, I like that theory, and I'll say I don't think you're wrong. The actual... With my first book, it was much more of a like collaborative process in terms of like, what are you looking for in a cover? And I shared some ideas. In this case, the publisher surprised me and just said, here's something we were thinking for the cover. And it was not at all what I expected. I expected something with like a headset. And I mentioned all that because I was it just hit me in a really good way. And so I can't say what the intention was on their part, but what I liked about it was that it was like three things. One of them was kind of like what you said. It was that, you know, like almost like a Jurassic Park thing. Like you see some equivalent of the water trickling or the tail, and you're like, okay, well, there's something else bigger here. Going also with the Palmer thing, I liked that it was like Palmer was kind of the elephant in the room that no one was talking about, and we're just talking about this like the elephant's foot, and it's like, well, what about the whole elephant? And then I just liked the idea that, you know, Oculus is often credited as if like some people, especially more of a mainstream media, would say like, oh, they invented VR, which they didn't invent VR. They were largely responsible for this phase of VR, commercial VR, and they deserve so much credit, billions of dollars worth of credit. But I like that this was like the tail end of something that had been going on for years and years and years back to the 50s, and that, you know, we were just sort of focusing on that. So that's where it came from.
The tail end.
Right.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming.
All of yours are great. I like mine the most. So
I like yours a lot too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just like say that that's it, and that I was right.
You can report that I confirmed to you that your guess was accurate.
Perfect. See, that's all I needed. Now I'll be able to sleep tonight.
That's funny because I really did always wonder why there was a dinosaur on there, right?
Yeah, well,
But yeah.
now we know.
Yes.
Thanks to me.
And
You're
knowing-
welcome.
Knowing is half the battle.
It is. So there's something that I say all the time, Blake, and it's that we're living in the future. And I love to say this because there was a day that I can remember specifically in my life where I realized it. I looked around, everything was modern as fuck. There's a huge flat screen image there where I'm using DVR and pulling up videos on demand and stuff. And I was like, oh my fuck, it's the future. Here we are, and I say this sometimes, and I say we're living in the future and people are like, huh, what do you mean by that? But when I say that we're living in the future, I imagine that probably resonates with you, Blake. Does it?
It does. I imagine maybe you're an old soul. I feel like it has to do with your age also. I don't know how old you guys are. I'm 38. How old are you guys?
I'll be 34 this month.
42 right here. I'm the old man.
Okay, yeah. So, even like you said, people have referred to my works as nonfiction novels, and I think I really like that. That's not a term I heard before, but I make a lot of effort to incorporate themes and to try to create a sense of ambiance. And one of the things I wanted to get into the first chapter was just something that, as a kid, would have struck me as very futuristic, where Palmer, when talking about Palmer's at creating Mod Retro, which was a web forum that was a few years before Oculus, where he met many of his friends that became part of Oculus. And basically it was the idea of him striking up these friendships online. And back when I was growing up, especially when the internet first became popular, parents would say oh, those aren't real friends. Those are online friends. And clearly, and Palmer didn't feel that way. He's 10 years younger than me. He's also more tech, focused but I just, that to me was just a small hint that this is something that we're in a different time, and also that he's part of a different generation. But we're very much living in the future. I mean, I feel that way anytime, when I'm backing up my work and it's oh, I'm just going to back up 5 gigs and then delete them from my computer. On this thing that costs $2, it's or whatever, a $10 memory stick that has 256 gigabytes.
Dude, we were just freaking out about OneDrive yesterday.
Yeah. The cloud.
OneDrive is fucking amazing, man. Dude, if you guys aren't using OneDrive and you are collaborating on anything, you are making a mistake. This shit's incredible. Anything hits your computer, uploads instantly. You can pull it from anywhere off of my phone. It's fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. It really is. We definitely are in the future. I mean, we are so close right now to being in a spot where we have VR that is so immersive that you almost can't tell the difference. In another 10 years, when BCI starts to really hit the market and things are going strong, I mean, I feel like we might lose actual reality. So this is very much the beginning of the future. Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on BCI?
Brain computer interfacing?
I guess. Yeah, no, I know. I find it scary. I mean, I'm not super knowledgeable, but I think I find a lot of these things scary, which I would totally acknowledge is probably just me being an old man, as opposed, I'm sure that if I did my due diligence, I'd feel a little bit differently. But I guess just using this book as an example and using your understanding of the cover, I went into this book thinking pretty highly of Facebook. It's a big corporation, so I wasn't a huge admirer, but I thought, well, that's great. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I love that it's free. I love that they let you do a lot of stuff that you want. I left the book having dealt with Facebook corporate and seeing how they operate, feeling very suspicious of their motives and distrustful. And so having them involved with BCI seems very a terrible idea to me. I think that if there's one thing, or maybe not one thing, but one of the biggest takeaways that I think seems to me of the past decade is that people are much less comfortable with and much more often judged, especially in a career way, based on sharing their thoughts on social media. So having a way to share thoughts even more easily, I know it's a different kind of thoughts, in an era where people seem to face ramifications more for sharing honest thoughts without ill intent, seems extremely frightening to me, especially with a company like Facebook that does have an activist mission that is they're not shy about that they want to change the world in certain ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, since writing this book, I mean,
Yeah.
it's already been some time, like you wrote the history of the future, but now we're in the future of the history of the future, So has these past couple of years, have they like been dramatic? I know you've been focusing on other stuff, but like, have they been dramatic as far as like your perspective of Facebook in the VR space? Like, do you now kind of have like a mostly or what's like a more ominous perspective, or do you still like kind of remain optimistic when it comes to it? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess a little bit. Probably more pessimistic than not. Just because I think of like. I'm just really even conflicted about take like the Oculus Quest or the Quest 2. When people, it's not uncommon for people to ask me if they should buy it. Like, oh, you're familiar with this, what do you think? And like, there's just this cognitive dissonance where, for the amount of money you're paying, it's an incredible technological feat for technology that I love. VR, it's like an incredible gateway in. But I'm so suspicious of Facebook, and like not even suspicious, but they're tracking a lot of information. I don't know what they're doing with that information. I actually don't even think that they know what they're doing with that information, because I think a big problem with Facebook is that they just give they open themselves up to the actions of bad actors, whether it's internally or not. And then when something bad happens, they say, "Oh, like sorry, we didn't protect this well." And part of their job is protecting things well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, do you guys recommend people to buy Quest? How do you guys feel about Facebook being such a important player in this?
I have always been very vocal about how Facebook has put in more energy and more money into this technology than anyone else, but they're doing it with very ill intent. They're doing it to gain you as a product. They can now self-identify you within 5 seconds of you using a headset. They know because of your movements that it is you. Without a shadow of a doubt, they are building these massive profiles about who each and every one of us are, and then you got companies like Microsoft who are then you can upload a relative's voice, give them access to the social media, and then they become a digital assistant. There's a lot of weird stuff that's going on. This is not, with artificial intelligence coming, they're going to be able to replicate almost the entire human race. I mean, Facebook is more a database of people, what they like and what they do, in order for them to make money than it is anyone else. So when people ask me if they should buy a Quest, I always ask, well, what is your feeling on everything you do and everything you look at being recorded? This is definitely the best hardware for the cheapest amount of money. It's a very good headset as far as technological advancements go, but man, the things that they do with this data, it's just not ethical. It's just not ethical, and I don't trust it, but I'm kind of a hypocrite because I use it all the time. You know what I mean? And I use the show as an excuse. But I mean, the fact of the matter is I love this technology so much that if Lex Luthor came and said, I got the best VR headset ever, I'm probably going to use it. And I know that bad stuff's happening behind the scenes.
You would use it knowing that hopefully Superman is out there, right? And maybe we'll just use it until Lex Luthor gets taken down. Like the thing that scares me the most is that public traded company business. The fact that Facebook is a publicly traded company, so the CEO could exchange hands in the future, and maybe Zuckerberg is not a big enough dick to ruin our lives with all that information, but once that company gets sold, if he dies in a car crash or some shit, then what the fuck is going to happen with all that data?
The next guy that comes in, who knows?
That could be like the IOI thing. So to me, that's the scary part. It's the fact that at the end of the day, it's really just about money, and no one gives a fuck about anything else. They don't care about you. They don't care about your safety, your privacy. All they want to do is sell to you and make more money. And we love this technology for other reasons. We don't love this technology because it's making us money. We love it because it's mind-blowing. It's immersive. It's like living in your dreams, and it's hard to ignore a company that's doing more for that than anyone else. So it is a kind of a catch-22 situation that we're in right now. But I'm hoping Superman shows up and fucking kicks Luthor's ass, and then we can go back to chilling and being okay.
That'd be great. Come on, Superman.
That would be cool.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's imagine if Lex Luthor controlled Facebook and can push news stories about how Superman
Yeah.
Oh, distrustful immigrant. Like, what are his intentions? Who can stop him? And then like
That's
our whole
just
thinking
it.
about the checks and balances. Yeah, basically like how can you have checks and balances when the information system can, really influence the way that you perceive that? Which I guess ultimately it's on you to think about these things. But yeah, it's complicated.
It's if you control the data, you control perception. If you control perception, you control the actions of the people. People tend to not care, and I think they won't care until something major happens. But as of right now, they are controlling how people think, and it's not just Facebook; it's Google, it's all of these big companies that they make money from data mining. Right, we are the product.
For sure.
That hardware in the Quest 2 does not cost $299. It costs a lot more, but it doesn't matter to Facebook. They're still going to make money from selling us. They're still going to make money. So,
Mr. Blake J. Harris, we're kind of running out of time with you here a little bit, but you've been working on on a project that it's not really related to VR. Maybe you could share a little bit about that.
Well, tell me if this is the one you're talking about. But I'm currently working on a book about my literary hero, Larry David.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully end this on a more optimistic note, or end my portion. Coming off of The History of the Future, which again I think I'm so glad I wrote, I'm so proud of, but it was an incredibly exhausting experience. It was not a very enjoyable experience. Reporting wise, I really wanted to work on something fun that brought joy to people, and I was thinking about things that have brought joy to my life, and few things have brought more joy than Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I wanted to write about Larry, but I only wanted to do so if I had access to him and to other people who could help him, help tell his story. And it's still surreal to me that has happened.
Congrats, dude.
Congrats,
wow.
Yeah, I'm writing about Larry, and I guess I'll give the short answer to the question that everyone always asks is, how much does he like his character on Curb? And I'll say that he's very, very similar to his character on Curb, except that he's a sweetheart. So always getting into crazy situations, always, deconstructing things from an observational standpoint, but he actually has empathy and cares about hurting people's feelings and is not defiant like he is in the show.
I fucking love Curb Your Enthusiasm. It is so
I love Seinfeld.
funny.
They're all great stuff.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to write about.
Tie it back to what we were talking about earlier, like the thing that I love about Larry's work is that we all remember it most for being funny because it is. That's like what's most important about it. But like thinking about Seinfeld as a show about nothing, it's the most intricately plotted sitcom story structure. And so I think that just really made an imprint on me. And whether it's this book about virtual reality or a book about Sega Nintendo or a book about Larry, just the thinking about the structure and the plotting it out is so critical to, creating accessible content and enjoyable content. And so that's part of why he's my hero. And so long way of saying that in some small way, Larry David is responsible for the history of the future.
Wow. Well,
wow.
Thanks, Larry David.
Yeah, thanks.
I guess we'll have him on the show next. Well, dude, this has been like so awesome. Like, why don't you like give us some closing thoughts before we kick you off?
I don't know what to say. Thanks for having me on,
just
guys.
say thanks and shit. Just wrap it up.
Yeah, no, thanks. I'm so glad you enjoyed the book. I always view my job as to be like the ambassador of these people's stories. They're entrusting me with their emails and stories and all that, and I just want to do right, even if it's not always flattering to them. But I think that overall, it's a pretty what these people in the story accomplish is pretty impressive, and there's no one that's a bad guy in it. It's just people maybe with different motivations and incentives. So thanks for having me on. Thanks for spreading the word about the book. I'm happy to come back on the show, as I mentioned earlier, because I do need a run, and it's not because I'm doing like fancy hobnobbing with Larry David. I have to take my cat to the vet. And I guess closing thought: cats are awesome. Cats have been the best thing about this pandemic. So
everybody, go take your cats to the vet, please. Like, take good care of your kitties. They need love and they need medical attention sometimes. So make sure you take them to the vet. Yeah. Blake J. Harris, This has been so much fun. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
The History of the Future is the book. Follow this guy on Twitter. We put his links in the description below. And
there's links in the description to buy the book on Amazon. There's links to the console wars. Definitely check this out. This is the most fiction-y nonfiction type of writing you're going to see. I mean, it really tells these stories in a very entertaining and awesome way. So definitely check it out.
And we'll take you up on that offer to join us again because this has been a lot of fun, and we need more. We need more yes. Blake J. Harris. So thanks again, man.
All right, take care, guys.
Later, brother.
All right, man. See you later.
Boom. Just like that. Oh, there's our next guest thing. We can announce it, I guess, but we're not going to end the show yet, folks. We're keep
that's
going.
True. That is true.
But Kyle Render is our guest next week, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
So let's just go back to the main one there.
All right. So thank you guys for being here and, being okay with us not really addressing you during this. We knew we only had about 30 minutes with Blake, so we really wanted to kind of capitalize on it, but Zero Cool, Lissa, dude, Delirium Drew has been here. Fucking Rendered Reality has been here. Croy VR has been here.
What's up, guys?
Gamertag VR, which I'm gonna mention his comment in a second. Tones My Bones showed up. Glitch Fandango's been here. Duty's been here. Ted Brady's been here. Dude, this is so awesome. Obscure Nerd. How do you pronounce Homegirl's name?
Just Robyn Smith.
Robyn Smith.
It's backwards.
Oh,
it's Robyn backwards.
Robyn Smith. You crafty crafter. Get to the Choppa has been here. Onikaze has been here. Hussein X has been here. Dude, holy fuck. You guys are so awesome.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Paradise Decay. And I'm pretty sure that's about everybody. Oh, Quicksilver sneaking in before I end this rant.
Nice.
So good to see you guys. And Gamertag, by the way,
yes.
Before you say shit, Gamertag rolled in and gave some massive props to us because we now work for VR-related companies. But everybody knew I work for Bhaptics, but now Skiva here is community manager for fucking Cybershoes, yo. Boom. There it is.
Yo.
Can you believe it? Like, dude, congrats, man. Like,
thanks, man.
It's really awesome.
Thanks. I've just always wanted to work in what I love. And I love VR, obviously. I was an original backer for the Cybershoes, and I'm one of their biggest fans, I think. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Listen, dude, if you think that that's going to change my unfiltered perspective of these things,
nope.
All right, then as long as we're on the same page. No, but it's really cool, man, and it's been so amazing to this past year, bro. I mean, how long have we been doing this show?
It has been. Man, it's been really close to a year. It's been over a year. It's just barely over a year. We started in February of 2020. So the very end of February.
It's been a year, and in the year that we've started the show, we've met so many people in the VR community. We've connected intimately with tons of amazing people, and now we both have fucking paying gigs in VR. This is fucking dope. So I'm loving this right now. It's fucking badass.
Thank you guys for making this happen. Without you guys, none of this would have happened for either of us.
For real. And thank you guys for just being supportive all the time too. It's really great to have such a supportive community, and it's like Cybershoes posts this shit today about you, and everybody jumps on it being like, holy crap, this is great, and it really is, dude. So
well, thank you.
Things could be worse.
Things could be worse.
Yeah.
This is very true.
And you know what could be worse is this show, but it's not going to be. It's only going to get better because actually we just spent a shitload of money on new equipment. Yes, guys, the audio on this show is going to improve drastically, or at least better for what we just dumped out of our pockets. So next month, it's taken a little while for this equipment to get to us, but mid April. We're in March. Yes, mid-April, we will have this equipment here, and you'll be able to hear our wonderful voices even more clear. Yeah, we're going legit, Joe Rogan legit. Yeah. Boom, Joe Rogan microphone. Boom, Joe Rogan microphone. Boom, sick-ass mixer. This is going down. It was not cheap, and we really hope that it'll fix things, because right now, sharing this microphone, it's not cutting it. It's kind of for the birds. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta tell you. It's not cutting. Yeah. Dean and Bren showed up. How's it going? Oh, what's up, guys? I'm going to guess it's not both of them. I'm going to guess it's Dean. Might be. But if it is you, Bren, hello. Hi, Bren. But what's up, Dean? It ain't Bren. It ain't Bren. All right, it's Dean. Okay. So good job. I'm excited to see your
Thanks.
face more on the internet. And
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're here.
We are.
We're here. We're fucking doing shit, y'all.
Yeah.
So there's probably some stuff we should talk about. There's been a lot of fucking news, and maybe we should start with this HTC business.
Oh man, HTC.
Oh my.
Oh no.
Oh my god, dude, no way.
Oh man, it's been.
What's up, bitches?
Holy shit. All right. Dickhead Robot is here. Dude, it's been a while. This guy tormented us all of season 2, and Skiba has been pretty good with the firewall lately, so I thought that's why we weren't going to see him. So,
what the hell?
The firewall actually does nothing. I've just been busy doing robot stuff.
Well, fair enough. Thanks for not being such a bastard lately.
You guys aren't so bad for a couple of dickholes. But those idiots over at HTC, that marketing team should have been fired with that CEO last year. That cryptic bullshit only works when your products are actually anticipated.
Damn, dude. Like, hey, I've got a Vive Pro, so I am personally a little bit excited. I could use some of this stuff. See how it works.
First, it's a mouth tracker. Next, it's an eye tracker. They could make a butthole tracker, and you guys would buy it anyway. HTC stands for Hype Train Catastrophe, but you meatbags fall for it every single time.
Right? Like they're making a face tracker for a discontinued headset. It doesn't even support the Cosmos. Their new... What the hell?
What the fuck? I guess you're right.
Those guys,
And this new Vive tracker, 70% more power, 33% smaller, and 0% shits given by anyone.
All right, listen. HTC could be competition for Oculus, right? So
I agree.
Don't worry. There's a couple of meatbags in a closet somewhere in Bangkok called Deca Gear that are gonna swoop in and save the day. Not. Ha, ha, ha.
Hey man, I pre-ordered that headset, man. Come on.
you pre-ordered Deca Gear?
I did. I did.
For some reason, that does not surprise me. I'm bored now. See you jerks when I feel like it.
Oh man.
Son of a bitch.
Well, it's been a decent run without that guy.
It has been a decent run, you guys. Sorry about this fucking dickhead robot. I thought we had fixed this problem, but apparently we haven't.
Apparently not.
This guy comes on and fucking talks a bunch of shit.
Yeah. Dude, I was so happy that for so long this guy wasn't harassing us. I thought I'd finally get that firewall taken care of.
Well, but you know what?
Whatever, man.
I gotta be honest. His timing was pretty good because we're just about to start talking about HTC, and I kind of agree with this guy right now. Like, it's like the cryptic messaging, like, only works when it's the thing people want.
I know.
You know, like you can't do like a cryptic fucking advertisement for like some shit that no one cares about, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, like we are trying to get VR into the mass audience here, right? We're trying to get everyone into VR, and instead of focusing on a good headset that tracks well, right? They come out with a face tracker and another Vive puck.
Yeah.
What? Like, huh? Like a tracker puck? Like I don't know. We needed it, but that shouldn't have been like what was it? Like 6 days of like, oh, we got something cool.
Right.
Oh, what's happening here?
I know. And I mean, you know, we've heard from an interview with some HTC execs that a headset is coming, right? So like we know that something will happen. Yeah. But to like, and here's the thing, I chatted with Nathan this morning for a little while, and we talked a little bit about this. And you know, he was talking about how the headset is not going to be a Quest competitor. All right. Like it's not going to be they're not going to be able to do that. And they're saying it's going to be better than the Quest. So what does this mean? It means it's targeted for enterprise. Right. Yet they fucking advertise this shit like it's intended for consumers. And they use consumer perspective to hype this shit up, but then release a fucking enterprise product. You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a high-end, you know, HTC likes to try to come out with high-end products. Doesn't always work out for them, but not since Valve left at least. But I'll tell you, HTC is going, I think they're going to come out with a headset that's just what the people that really have some money to spend on this stuff want out of a standalone headset and a PC VR compatible headset. I feel like it'll be an all-in-one, but the higher priced version, you know, not the budget will sell your data to make up for the rest of the cost version. So I could be wrong, but that's only happened like once and it was a long time ago. So.
Midlife Gamist. What's up, Midlife? Thanks for dropping in.
How's it going?
You know, I've already said this, but I actually like my HTC Vive Pro a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's my favorite headset to use, actually. I come over here and I use your Index, and then I go home, and, like, my Vive Pro feels like home.
Yeah.
So I personally am, like, kind of like a HTC, I don't want to say fanboy, but, like, I have a special connection with it, especially because it's not Oculus, you know, and I can use it to do all the stuff I want to do. So I would be really stoked if they came out with a dope ass fucking standalone headset, you know? And I mean, I don't know that I would be able to afford it, but you bet your ass I'd be fucking sending emails and like poking people and being like, yo, what's up?
Well, the crazy thing is, just like Dickhead Robot mentioned, like, why would they come out and be like, oh my God, guys, look what we have. Ta-da! A peripheral that does not work with our new headset. Does not work with the Cosmos. It does not work with the Vive Pro.
What?
It works with, well, it might work with the Vive Pro, but that is discontinued. You can only get the Vive Pro I. If you go out to buy a Vive Pro, only the Vive Pro I is there. So what are you guys doing? Why does this not work with your brand new headset?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Because no one has it.
Yes, but like, why wouldn't it at least be compatible? Like, this is like, how do you trust a company that does something like this?
I mean, it's probably a different CEO, right? So old CEO makes the Cosmos a thing. New CEO comes in and is like, well, that's a piece of shit, and we're not going to be pushing that. You know, like, like, what do you? If they made something that was compatible with the Cosmos, it would not get used.
But it could be compatible with both. They're both their products,
and that would be ideal.
You know, I feel like the Vive Pro was the residual leftovers of the Vive, which Valve designed, right? And HTC came and mass produced them and pushed them out and offered the support and blah, 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 blah. And then HTC said, well, we can make this a little bit better. And they did. They made a great headset. The Vive Pro is fantastic. So what did they do? They discontinued it. Okay, and they have this other headset that's absolute garbage. But they have the Vive Pro I, which is a great headset as well, but it's really expensive. It has Tobii eye tracking. You know, you're paying for stuff that isn't implemented in almost any game yet, right? So I mean, really, who's going to go out and buy the Vive Pro I except for enterprises? Right, so why?
Hussein X says it took them 6 days to reveal a tracker. It might take them 6 years to reveal an HMD worth buying.
That's if they can pull off an HMD worth buying in 6 years. Like
that's what he's saying.
Yeah, I know. Like you got to be able to. Tracking's important. That is VR. If you can't track your stuff.
And then that's why I always go back whenever this conversation comes up versus fucking all-in-one tracking versus outside tracking. It's like, dude, tracking is the most important thing.
It is.
So until that standalone tracking compares, I'm not going to be in a hurry to use it.
Yeah, and you know, I wonder, right? Like, I really should have looked this up before, but does anyone know how many employees HTC has? Right, we like to rag on them. I feel like they're now probably a smaller company than Facebook, at least. And Facebook
everyone's a smaller company.
Yeah, I know. So Facebook has 58,600 employees from the last number that I saw. And we heard that 20% of that 58,000 is working on VR and AR. That's over 11,000 employees chilling at Facebook working on the Quest 2, Quest 3, Quest 4, and how to best harvest your data. But 11,000. So HTC really got to bring it here, because they got to have some people working on this stuff. They got to have people improving the tracking, and it has to work really well. So fingers crossed,
dude.
man.
If it doesn't, they are in serious trouble. Like serious trouble. If this thing doesn't come out and wow people, they are gonna be in fucking trouble.
Yep.
No one's gonna believe a goddamn word they say. Like, you know, fool me once, fool me can't get fooled again. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Alex Bush right here.
Fool me can't get fooled again. No, I'm trying not to get fooled again.
Man, so what do you think? Are they gonna hit this one out of the park, or are they gonna fall on their face? Because I believe this is
No idea.
the make it or break it moment for HTC.
I agree.
If they fail on this, that's it, man. Close the door.
So
put a board
let
on
me
it.
ask about the G2 then, because the G2 came out, fell on its face.
Yeah.
And that's not it for HP, right? So they're gonna have another.
No, but HP does other stuff. They make printers, they make computers, they make everything. HP is HP. This is just a little thing for them. HTC, they make VR headsets, and then they sold off the division that made phones.
Yeah, that's
so they
all
don't
I
even
was
have
gonna
that
say,
part.
phones or something.
Yeah, but so like this is it, man. Like if this fails, I don't know how they're going to continue to be funded. You know, like where are they going to get the money to pay their employees? So.
Lissa says there's 3,500 employees at HTC.
Oh, geez,
So
man.
they have a third of the
People working
people
on it
working
at Facebook.
on it at Facebook.
Wow.
And
Well-
that's their entire company. I mean, again, Facebook is fucking huge, so it's kind of stupid to compare it to anything, but
Well, but you gotta. I mean, 11,000 people working on one product and 3,500 people working on another product. And the 3,500 side is the one that's going to be the most expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you know, they can't track hands yet. How are they tracking someone's face? You know what I mean? Like, let's put the resources where they need to be, right? Figure out your tracking
Right.
first.
well, and I mean, and this goes to show just why the marketing team needs to get their fucking shit together, because they should know that. They
Yep.
should know that they can't lead with these products, otherwise no one will care. You know, like you have to lead with a banger, like something that like whoa, like
Yeah. It's the boy who cried wolf, because next time they're going to be like, oh,
Yeah, they show us
here's
an
the
upload
corner
image.
of a logo. And we're going to be
Exactly.
like, who cares, dude?
Yep.
GFY.
yeah, what's
You
that
know?
going to be? Some
Yeah.
fucking
Who
knows?
Is it finally that butthole tracker that DHR is talking about?
That's funny.
Pucker up.
That's funny. He's a funny robot.
He is, man. I don't know exactly what his deal is, but you know, at end of season 1, he crashed our ship, and that's how we ended up in this one. It's kind of a dick, but you know, sometimes he comes in and he just tells it like it is, and that's why it's all right sometimes when he shows up.
Yeah, this was one of those times where it was like, you know what? I kind of feel you, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yep.
So here's something I don't think we mentioned this. So we mentioned that you're working with Cybershoes, but we did not mention
Oh, yes.
something cool.
Yes. So we will. Let me pull this screen down real quick because I just want to show you guys something. We are going to be giving away some cool stuff here. We have a full Cybershoes game station that we're going to give away on this channel. It is it's the stool, it's the VR anti-static carpet, it's the shoes, you know, obviously the dongles and the trackers and all that stuff. And we are giving this is like a $500 thing, man. And we're giving this to one of you guys. So go ahead and hop into the description and you will find a link to the Gleam giveaway that we're going to use to give this away. And we're going to run this for like over the next month, so over the next 4 episodes. So you will have a little bit of time to enter, or you know, to have your friends enter or whatever, because this is super fun, man. You know, who doesn't want this for free?
This is the thing you want to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, like these peripherals, like B-Haptics, Cybershoes, you're looking at it and you kind of have to waffle on it for a while. You know,
Yeah, you're like, do I
"Damn,
buy another headset or do I buy this thing
is
for
it
the headset?
worth
Right.
it? You know, is it not? I want it, but do I have the
Yeah.
money? You know, and like this problem fucking solved, y'all. Like you can get it for free. And it's only to our subscribers. So
Yep. So you have to be subscribed.
Yep, and if you
So
want to
please
share
subscribe.
this shit with others and lower your chances of winning it, please share it with your friends and get them to subscribe to our channel as well.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, share it.
Yeah. Share it. Gleam helps you, right? Like it gives you more entries if you do more things.
Yeah. You can pick out. I mean, there's the few things you can click on. You can click on our Twitter. You can click on Cybershoes Twitter. You can get extra entries for doing these things, and this is great. So for anyone that doesn't know, I'm sure you guys know already, but you strap these to your feet, right? You put them on kind of like over, under your sneakers or your shoes or whatever, and then you kind of you sit on the stool and you run and you get exercise. This is definitely, I've always said that I really like this product for, I game and I hate to exercise, but this puts exercise into my gaming. I will go land on a planet in No Man's Sky and I'll go hiking. Mm-hmm. And that'll be, I'll hike up a mountain and that'll be my cardio. I'll get, I'll intentionally get myself to the point where my heart's racing and, I'm sweating a little bit because I need some kind of exercise. Mm-hmm. So this is a really, really good way to do so.
And for me, this is the thing that really kind of like shifted my perspective on Cybershoes is that it's not, in my opinion, to be used as an all or nothing thing. Right. Like I wouldn't use Cybershoes to completely replace your locomotion in the game because there's a lot of stuff that's like tight little corners and shit. And mm-hmm. Cybershoes just doesn't do a great job.
Right. You can't really strafe and stuff yet.
Right.
Right.
But that being said, if you can use these to like sprint across a hall, or like across the field, or like whenever you have like a straightaway, you can like all of a sudden you realize that you have the option to use your feet. Mm-hmm. Being able to go back and forth from the sticks to my feet, just whenever I feel like, makes these a good and immersive experience. Yeah. Having to like go all into the Cybershoes when I was trying to do that, I was finding it very difficult. So if you do win these, it's not all or nothing. Put them on your feet, use your controllers, but then when you want to run, you can, and that is fucking cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. We had a great thing for Gamescom 2020 where a bunch of creators got together and we played Onward with these things, and it was one of the funnest times.
Really
had.
Fun.
Not
even
like
fucking around.
Running across the field with your gun, like hoping you're not going to get shot. I mean, it really is. It can really, in a lot of different situations, add to the immersion. So it really is good. You can run in these things. You can jump. You can even kick in games that support it. So, fun stuff.
Arthur Knox, finally here for a live show, man. Hey, welcome in. Thanks for being here.
What's up?
You're late, but whatever. I'm good. Fine, I guess. All right. Well, what else you got for us, dude?
Oh man, we got some stuff.
Did you mute like you were supposed to, so you could pull something else up? Remember?
I did not, but we can do that.
Do you have something to pull? I mean, I'm just trying to be.
No, thank you.
Responsible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Let's see. What can we pull up here? Because there's stuff going on all over VR right now. So we got. What's a good thing to talk about is there is this kid. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I have it pulled up here. And this is interesting because HTC just came out with this lower cost. HTC just came out with this lower cost tracker, right? They lowered the price of this. They made it smaller. And I found it interesting that there's this kid that has found a way to do full body tracking for really, really cheap. Let me pull this up here. So check out this article if you can on Upload VR. So this dude was able to create this very low cost tracking system, and right now it only works 180, but he is working on the 360 version, and I think he said, he's targeting for like a $60 price for full body tracking.
Whoa!
Right, and to buy all the Vive pucks, you need 3 of them. Right, one for each foot and one for your waist. Before that was close to like a $500 thing, right? Mm-hmm. This guy's going to be able to pull it off $60 and just some kid.
Well,
wow.
First of all, that's great.
It is.
Second of all, what kind of full body tracking we talking here? Because you can hook up a fucking Kinect, but
this is true.
It doesn't look the same as somebody who's got trackers on.
This is true. Well, there are videos. I think there are some videos here. Which
like a little demonstration.
Yeah, dang it, I don't think I have it pulled. So this dude has a YouTube page, and you can check out his progress. So check out this article, check it out. It's kind of fun stuff. The point here is we are getting to a place where this stuff is all going to become affordable someday, right? It won't just be the people that are like, oh my God, I love VR. I'll eat ramen to play with all these toys, right? Like this stuff is coming down the line where headsets are getting cheaper, peripherals are getting cheaper. This stuff is really, we're getting more and more immersive as well, which is just the main goal, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean, dude, I've said it before, full body tracking is insanity.
Yeah.
And anybody who like gets into it, like Eric for president recently started doing it, and like he had never done it before. He goes in once and he comes out and he's like, oh.
Yeah. Sadly, it's Bradley was on, and he talked about how he got completely addicted to full body tracking.
Where they would just go in there and just be,
Yeah.
and like this to me speaks to like the real true power of VR, because it's about being present, right? Like it's about looking down and seeing you.
Yeah.
Like we don't do that in our normal lives. Like you're just so busy wrapped up in all your stupid shit as you're going throughout the day, just I'm doing this, now I gotta eat next, I gotta, and you're just like thinking constantly. You never look down and be like, oh my God, I'm here. It's like self-realization.
Yeah.
And VR starts to force people, it just forces you to do it. It's like you look down and you see your hands in a way that you haven't seen them since you were young,
One of the problems with full body tracking is there aren't a ton of titles out there that support it, right? So spending all that money to track your full body when you only have a couple options, right? You got VR chat, Neos, and then you got like Blade and Sorcery, right? Which is great. You can kick people. I mean, that is a very immersive one. It's very realistic, but there just aren't a ton of titles to support it. I mean, remember like the B-Haptics days at the very beginning, there were like 2 games that supported it. So we were like, right? Then all of a sudden, now everyone's supporting this thing, and it's one of the greatest peripherals to ever come out for VR, right? So I feel like full body tracking will get there as more people and more developers implement it, and the cost of these things go down. Your normal Joe and Sally Walmart don't have all this money to buy Vive trackers, set them all up, stick all this shit to you all the time. It's hard. There's a lot of friction there. So
Arthur Knox is wondering, do y'all think cameras can be connected by Bluetooth to work with the Quest 2?
What kind of cameras are we talking about?
Like
here?
an external camera for tracking is my guess.
Oh, like how they used to track the CV1, like the original Oculus Rift, and so there were external cameras that you put in the corners of your rooms, infrared cameras. I doubt it.
Yeah, right. Because that camera would have to interface.
It does
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like on a computer or on your.
Yeah,
phone,
it has to hook up to Steam VR or Oculus. To their software. It has to be completely integrated. I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, you're right. So. And it seems like all they want to do is just continue to double down on the inside-out tracking.
Yeah.
And try to add it.
And I think we'll get there with inside-out tracking. Everyone knows that inside-out tracking is not where Vive tracking is. But at the same time, most people do not want to set up base stations, pay $150 a base station, and then it's just not as in reach as something like the Quest. But the Quest has the XR2 chipset, and that XR2 chipset supports 7 cameras, right? And we only got 4 on the Quest right now. If we got one on the back, or one on the top, or something as these things evolve, right? We hear a lot of talk about in the Quest 3 possibly putting the battery and some of the components on the back of the headset to even out the weight, slim up the front a little bit, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with cameras on the back, on the sides, on the top. I believe that inside-out tracking will eventually encompass just about everything and become almost as good as standard, laser-based Steam VR tracking.
Laser-based.
Yes, lasers.
Person says, if you're a content creator, you can use full body trackers for mixed reality overlaying an avatar with Live, which is another use case for that. But the thing is, the thing that I personally love about Live is that you can just put your actual body into the scene with a camera, and then
and we do use Vive trackers in Live to track the camera itself. So I can move around. I usually let Alex play because he is way better at games than me. and I'm better at the tech than him. So I'm usually walking around with the camera, but that camera is tracked within virtual reality as well as taking just the image of him. As you saw, if you can, I don't know if you saw last week's episode when we got to get that video up actually, the Synth Riders video that we did, our first real good, I think it was real good MR video. So
It was good.
yeah, I think so.
I'll give it to you.
It's going to be even better on the next one.
Yes. Yeah, it will. Yeah, we're really excited. We're stepping shit up around here, and you guys will start to see evidence of that pretty soon.
Yes. And if you want us to do even more, we have a Patreon. So please feel free to click on that Patreon link at the bottom. If you do have any extra dollars here and there, please feel free to give them to us. And we will use that to make you some really cool shit.
Yeah, if you're a Patreon, you can boss us around. You can be like, hey guys, listen, I'm a Patreon. Next episode, I need you to bring this up. And I'll be like, okay, done.
Might as well thank the Patreons while we're on this subject.
Yeah, we should.
We got Robyn, who's our newest Patreon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Robyn.
Robyn, thank you very much. We got Cody, who's your homie.
Yep, I love Cody.
Over here in Arizona. We got Delirium Drew. We got Cheryl Goldberg. And we got John Westra. So we got some good ones.
And we had German Rifter. I feel like if you're ever a Patreon, you stay a Patreon. Is he still?
Yeah, well, German Rifter, as a lot of people in the community know, he's been through some shit. He got COVID. He was hospitalized for a long time. He just, the poor dude. Why is it always the nice guys that get shit on?
Yeah.
We love you, German Rifter. But anyway.
Point is, once a Patreon, always a Patreon. And if you ever find a way to contribute, which we have no expectations of, but if you do, you will definitely earn favor with us.
Yep. Yep, for sure.
Pay us.
Brittany
Perulis, my lovely fiance in chat.
Oh, what's up, Brittany?
Say hi to my fiance, Brittany, everyone. She'll be my wife in about a month or less, which is fucking crazy. Can't believe I'm getting married.
That's nuts.
That is nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you, man.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for the both of you.
Yeah, thank you. The version of me in my 20s is like looking at me. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you know better. Like, come on. But
well, you found a keeper.
Thank you. That's very true. I certainly have, and I've gotten older and wiser, and I've learned to definitely not let a good thing go when you have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I got a question for you. So we talked a lot today, especially with Blake being on the show, about Facebook. So what do you think about this whole Facebook thing with being able to say, hey, Facebook, to your Quest, and it listens and then launch whatever, or show me the friends that are online. You used to be able to, I think, double click the Oculus button and it would bring up the voice assistant. Now Facebook is listening all the time. Dun, dun, dun.
Well, it probably already was.
I know. And now it's blatantly obvious. I'm not hiding it
totally
anymore.
Obvious. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, man. We already do it. It's already happening, and we know it. So, and Facebook just jumping on board, it doesn't really seem like.
Well, here's the other thing about this, though. You're not saying, "Hey, Oculus," which would make sense. You're saying, "Hey, Facebook." So, does this mean that they're going to slowly start to phase out the Oculus brand? Are they trying to really get no? You don't think so? Well, that's good. I
don't think so. Yeah, it's like at this point, the word Oculus for a lot of people is synonymous, truly synonymous with virtual reality. In the same way that like Kleenex is synonymous with a tissue. Yeah. Like people will be like, yo, will you fucking hand me a Kleenex real quick? Like they don't mean an actual Kleenex brand Kleenex. They are asking you to hand them a fucking tissue. Right. Joe and Sally Walmart are doing this with VR. They're like, oh, meet me on the Oculus, But
at that same thing, when Joe and Sally Walmart walk into Walmart and they see an Oculus Quest, are they going to buy that over them seeing a Facebook Quest? Because they know what Facebook is. They're like, oh, I got them Facebook there.
I feel like Facebook is hiding behind the name Oculus.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, it's not Facebook, it's Oculus. Like they're like hiding back there, like using it as a shield so people don't know that it's Facebook immediately. It's only after you've bought the damn thing and you try to log in, it's like, oh, by the way, you better have a fucking Facebook account.
Yeah, that's true, man. Damn. It is, that could be it, because when you look at an Oculus Quest box, I don't think there's a Facebook logo anywhere on there. At least not right there up in your face, maybe on the back somewhere, right? But
that's a good point. I don't think I have seen an Oculus logo on that box.
So why then are they having you say, hey, Facebook? It's just weird. It's weird. Some of these companies and these people, man, I just feel like they just need me to come in and consult for them all because they're all dumb. No.
Yeah, well, they just don't give everyone all the information.
True.
They just do stuff, and then we're left to like wonder what their intentions are. It would be amazing if companies would do stuff and be like, "All right, so we just did something, and here's our intention for the next few years." It's like, so you don't fucking freak out or you don't not trust us because we gave you something cryptic that eventually led into something else, you know? And it's like. The problem, dude, and this is the problem that like permeates, in my opinion, all of the shit that sucks in the world right now. And it's a problem of truth. No one knows what's true. You know, like we all have perspectives and ideas and opinions on matters, but when no one knows what's real and what's not real, it's impossible to fucking get anywhere.
This is true.
And that's the huge problem right now is like there's a huge issue of trust. We don't know whether or not we can trust this company. And
yeah, we do.
Well,
we know.
We think we know, but you know, I mean, we're kind of praying and hoping that we can, you know, like it's an issue of trust and it's an issue of truth. And both of these things are the reason why people get pissed off when all of these like political things happen, you know, or like Twitter blows up when something stupid happens in, you know, in the world with the fucking, all the crap that people fucking talk about all the time, you know? So
yeah, we
just need to get to a point where like when information comes out, it's verifiable. And if we can verify information and we can verify stuff and find a clear path to do that, I think it's going to help us achieve a lot more, not just in the VR space, but just as a fucking species, you know? Like we got to figure out what's true and what's not true, because at this point, people don't give a fuck what's true and what's not true. They just choose a side that makes the most sense to them or makes them feel the best, and then they just run with it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. Well, you know, Oculus does even sometimes surprise us, right? So, I mean, I know this is it's kind of old news now, but we didn't really get to talk about it, right? So, Oculus now is allowing virtual desktop to stream PC content, which before they had blocked, you used to have to go into SideQuest. You would have to load the patch. You know, you'd have to figure out SideQuest, load the patch, and then be able to stream PC VR, assuming you had a good enough 5 gigahertz network to do so. Oculus came out and said, nope, that's not happening, right? So you had to go that whole side route. Now this is in the official Oculus Quest store. When you buy virtual desktop, you immediately, as long as you put the streamer on your desktop and you download that little client, you can now stream PC VR.
Cool.
So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Now, remember, and this is, I think, why they didn't allow it to begin with. If you have some, you know, if you have a router that you got from your internet service provider, this probably isn't going to be what you want to do. If you have a shitty Linksys that you got back in, you know, 1999 and the thing's still hanging on, right? You don't want to do this. Stick with the cable. Right, but if you have a really good 5 gigahertz or 6 gigahertz or Wi-Fi 6 network, then this is amazing, right? Being able to play any VR game that you want wirelessly, it's just so good. It's so good. The latency has gotten to a point where you really can't tell the difference between using a link cable and using VR virtual desktop. And the colors even come through better on virtual desktop than they do on link. Now, I still can't figure out why Oculus hasn't just hired this guy, right? If I was Mark Zuckerberg, I'd be like, yo, get Guy Godin in here. Let's do this. Hire this guy immediately, because Oculus needs their own wireless tracking system, wireless streaming system. So
look at this first sentence. You can now wirelessly stream Half-Life Alyx, Boneworks, H3 VR, and other PC VR only games. Like, it's just, I mean, I don't know. It seems the H3 VR in there seems a little forced to me. Just saying. Like,
yeah, back in the day, hot dogs, hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. I almost said hamburgers. Was a really, really popular game.
It just seems like whoever wrote this is a fanboy.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
they put it in there with Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks. Like,
no,
come on.
No,
like
that's not even the same ballpark.
It's like his cousin's game or something.
Right?
Like, why? How could you slip that game in there with Half-Life Alyx and Boneworks? I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit about that game, but
it is really good. But it's really for gun enthusiasts, right? There's some cool things in there actually too, right? Where you can run around and like Team Fortress clones, but everyone's a hot dog. You just run around and blow all the meat apart.
Is that in that game?
Yeah.
Wasn't that supposed to come to Quest? Don't you remember a long fucking time ago, like OC6, there was like a Meat Fortress trailer, and it was like a first-person shooter in the world of Team Fortress. What the fuck happened to that game?
It's in H3.
It's in H3? It's just in there?
Yeah. You just go in and you pick that game mode. Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was expecting that game to come out.
I would think that that anyone that wants to make a successful game is working on a Quest version, right? Originally, everyone was like, PC VR, yay. But now everyone's buying Quests. That's where all the money is. They're making, look at Saints and Sinners with a $29 million, sales on their games, right? Like, this is where the money is in virtual reality. So if you're a developer, this is where you want to go. This is it, right? And I did see and this, I think you posted this on Twitter, so it should be fine to talk about. I did see a Twitter post of one of my favorite games, Grapple Tournament, running on a Quest. Yeah. So that is coming maybe sooner than later.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath.
5-6 months, maybe.
Yeah. That sounds like a probably a reasonable expectation.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you guys haven't played Grapple Tournament, you are missing out. Oh my God, you guys are missing out, man. This game is about to get full haptic support. So you can fly around, you can fling around using this grapple hook, grabbing on the walls, swinging around where you're shooting at your friends. Things are hitting you in the chest, in the back. Your arms are getting the recoil. And oh my God, guys, buy this game and play this game.
It's cool. And the haptics feel really awesome.
Yeah.
It's going to update on March 18th with the bHaptics update.
Nice.
So that is in what, like a week? What is the date today? The 12th? Yep. So yeah, less than a week.
Yeah.
That'll be exciting. Maybe we'll do like an event where we play with everyone and we'll throw on our bHaptics gear to celebrate the bHaptics patch, and maybe some of you guys in chat can join us for some matches. That would be fun.
Watch us on Twitter, guys. If you're not following us on Twitter, I'm at Skiva, and this is at Alex__VR, and we will create an event where we all get to hop in to Grapple Tournament and play. Whether you have a vest or not, doesn't matter. We actually have a Between Realities headset that you can put on your character in the game. And yeah, this game, if you are a fan of Unreal Tournament, Quake 3 Arena, the old school, super fast, run, gun, die, frag, repeat, you know what I mean? Ultra fast, always action happening. This is the game for you.
It's a really, lot of grappling too. Like when I made this video for bHaptics, I was playing on like a beta, and I was running around with bots, and the bots who I was running around with were kind of keeping my feet on the ground, like they're not grappling around a whole lot. But if you want to be competitive in this game, you are on the move constantly. You are constantly swinging like fucking Spider-Man around these levels.
And that's what that's like. It's like Spider-Man with guns. Yeah,
it is.
Legit. Like, these guys got that shit worked out. And because of Grapple Tournament, I now fully believe that a Spider-Man VR is possible. And I think, don't quote me on this, it's complete speculation, but I think Spider-Man will be, if Sony knows what's good for him, and Insomniac Games will be a PSVR 2 game. Because
that's actually a pretty fun little thing to speculate.
Yeah.
Because they made Iron Man.
They did, and Sony bought Insomniac Games, right? So now Insomniac Games has to do what they're told by Sony, right? And now they made the new Miles Morales version of the upscaled version of the Spider-Man experience for the PS5. And I imagine with the amount of work they did in that game that they will utilize that for all different kinds of experiences. And hopefully VR will be one of them, because obviously this can be done. There's other games now that are also grabbing this grappling mechanic. One is Swarm that isn't out yet, but it's coming, and it's so good. It's so good, but it's more of a single player experience. They will have multiplayer later on, but single player compared to Grapple Tournament, which is multiplayer. Both very good games. Both make very good use of the swinging mechanic and the grappling hook type of mechanic. And it just goes to show that something like Spider-Man could absolutely work.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. And then never mind the Winland series, right? Winlands 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, don't even like that.
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, it's like those are classics now, especially the second one.
And Windlands 2 is bHaptics native.
That's right. We went in there and we swung around and we...
Yeah, that's the first time I ever tried virtual desktop. I think it was the first time I ever tried virtual desktop, period, playing a VR game, was playing Windlands 2 with my bHaptics gear downstairs. Like, it was connected to my PC upstairs, and everything was connected and working. And
for that game, you do need some pretty quick latency, right? You can't have very high, because you're swinging and you're aiming for like branches and stuff.
Yeah, for the record, I definitely dropped frames. Like, it wasn't like super
It's getting better and better, though.
Well, and that was on the Quest 1. Like, this was a while ago that we did that.
I remember that. That was super fun. Yeah, that was super fun. So anyway, we got that going on, and we're gonna have a Between Realities Grapple Tournament party. So I hope you guys want. Oh, let us know too. I had this idea about maybe getting together with some Between Realities people and doing like a big screen night where we all like hop in and maybe just watch something and have fun and throw popcorn at the screen and all that fun stuff. So yeah, let us know in chat or in the comments.
Or in our goddamn Discord.
Or in our Discord. Come join our Discord. Let us know if that's something you want to do, because I would love to put it together, but only if people are going to show up. So yeah.
Well, we can talk about big screen after we play Grapple Tournament on the 18th. So fucking pencil it in, people. March 18th, let's all get together and play some Grapple Tournament and have a good time. Because those games are so much more fun when you recognize every name in the lobby. Like, that is why I love collaborating with people, because it's a group of people who you know the names and you know the personality behind the name. So like when I kill Soul Fox, that means so much more to me than when I kill just some random name, you know? Like, it means
so much to me to slaughter Soul Fox.
It does. Fucking Soul Fox is too good at games, all right?
You know what's funny is like that dude will, you know, I'll shoot Soul Fox and he'll be like, yeah, you suck, you know, and then he'll shoot me and I'll die and he'll be like, I love you, buddy.
I know, right? He's
such a good guy. Even when he kills you, he's nice.
He doesn't talk shit.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. He just only has good things to say.
He does. He's such a good dude.
Well,
really like him.
You know, we'll see how good he is, see if he hears this. If you ever hear this conversation, Soul Fox, come tell me about it, because I'm guessing you probably won't, right? You want to wrap this up?
Yeah, I kind of want to mention one more thing here, and again, this is probably a week old or so, but we had this thing happen where After the Fall is a game that got announced, and this has been in beta for a little while, but in the description it says that After the Fall is also coming to yet to be announced VR platforms. Now, this could mean two things. This could mean that they just haven't announced that it's going to be on CB1 or, you know, or whatever. Or it could mean that this is coming to an unannounced headset. And we do know that HTC does have a standalone headset coming. We know that Pico has one. They have games in their store you know, Pico did announce also a Pico Neo 3, by the way.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. So I do feel like, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what to make of this one. I don't know if they're talking about a headset that just hasn't been announced at all.
Well, you know, why haven't they? I mean, it's obvious that the wording is a little unclear. So, I mean, have they not followed this shit up?
No.
Like, why not come out and clear the air and be like, oh, hey, by the way, guys, we didn't mean...
Because they're sitting back there laughing, going, look at all these guys.
Look at these people talking about us.
Yeah. It's PR for them.
Fuck
it doesn't
this
matter.
cryptic marketing shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
marketing.
over it. I think it's stupid.
It's stupid, but we get on here every week and we talk about it.
Fuck
that's what
that.
we do.
We're not talking about this anymore. Take this off the screen. Fuck you, After the Fall. It's not happening. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Kind of. To me, this this is bullshit, and I don't think it means that. I don't think that they accidentally leaked a headset that we haven't heard of. I think they said it's coming to a headset that we haven't said it's coming to, like PSVR.
Yeah.
Like
that's
like one of those ones. Yeah, or PSVR 2 or Oculus. I mean, but
or the HTC. What the hell would they even call that thing? The Focus, the Blur? No, I don't know. Or the Focus. I mean, because this is supposed to be a successor to the Focus, the new headset that they're coming out with. So, yeah,
I don't know. Either way, I don't think after the fall spilled the beans here. I think whoever put that sentence together didn't proofread it enough, and then it went out, and then everyone's like, wait, what does this mean? And they're like, oh, fuck, people are talking about it. Like, this to me, I don't get that excited about this. But I scrolled right past the first images of the Quest 2. Like when they were first announcing the Quest 2, and like it wasn't announcements, it was like speculation, just like images, like with like the purple background. I was like, okay,
that's not it.
Yeah, I just cruised right past it, thinking it was like a digital render or something, and then like 3 days later, everyone's like, actually, that
Quest
was it.
1, but it's white,
right? And I was like, okay, fuck, I guess I was wrong, So I've been proven wrong before. I guess I sometimes have a bit of a cynical perspective, so it is what it is.
Well. Yeah, that's good.
I don't think they spilled the beans. I think they could have done a better job wording their sentence. That's what this says to me.
That's cool.
But we'll see.
Well, that's cool. I mean, there's so much stuff coming that it could mean anything.
Right. Like Hussein X says, could it mean Viveport Infinity? Like.
Yeah, it very well could. But Viveport Infinity, I feel like it's going to be tied to this new HTC headset as well. I mean, like I said in the past, HTC has the infrastructure, and that's one of the biggest things you need, besides some good hardware, to pull off a legit VR ecosystem. You have to have all of it, and I think these guys are going to do it. Now, I remember when the Cosmos came out, and there was an image of the Cosmos connected to a cell phone. So I feel like this was their intent a long time ago, to have a cross-platform headset like that was mobile and PC VR, and now they're kind of melding it in with the Vive Focus and I don't know, maybe in this face tracker, right? We'll see. It's interesting. Interesting.
We don't talk about these very often, but we saw some really fucking cool 3DOF VR glasses from Pico at CES. And those things were plugged into a phone that you put in your pocket.
Yeah.
So you put a phone in your pocket, it's plugged into these really light glasses.
Super thin.
And it looked really fucking good.
Yep.
So I am not entirely against the whole like plug it into your phone and drop it in your pocket.
I'm not either,
solution.
but I am against 3DOF.
Yes.
I think three degrees of freedom is VR's poison.
But what if they like ship it with like a brick, right? And it's like a small computer. Maybe it's not a phone, but the power of a phone, or maybe comparable, or maybe more powerful, and you just put that in your pocket, and like that drives the headset.
Sure, but let's be real with the Quest being out, because that was all before Quest, right? When they announced all that stuff. So now I'm sure they're saying, nope, it's got to be built in.
Right.
It's got to be built in.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. I think with the costs of XR2 and all of these chips now being mass marketed and mass produced, and as long as they can get some kind of as long as they can get some inventory, I feel like it's all going to be all in one.
All right, listen up, people. If you are not subscribed to this channel, do so now. I'm guessing that the people who are watching now are. Because I can see you guys in the chat, and I see you guys every week, and your support means so much to us. So thanks. Let's spread the word a little bit as well. We want to grow this audience if we can. We're not gonna resort to any bullshit measures to make that happen, but we would love to grow the audience. So by all means, share the show with your
friends. What's bullshit? Am I still gonna do the segment where I'm naked?
Right.
No
spoilers, dude. All right, I was trying to keep that a secret. Well, I think this is it, man. I think we're here. Yep. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah. And don't forget to join us next week with Kyle Render.
Yep, Kyle Render, who we've talked about a bunch of times on this show. He is the owner of Failed to Render Comedy. It's a VR comedy show in Altspace, and we had a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, Andy Southern, Obscure Nerd, and he performs in there all the time. So this is the guy who runs that VR comedy show. So.
And I love comedy. And I love VR. So these two are a perfect blend for me.
And Kyle's a great dude. Like, he and I have become friends over the past year, and he's hilarious and super down to earth and hardworking and passionate and driven and all those things. So it'll be great to have him
Yeah,
on.
and here's the thing, guys. If you go to see, and we can talk about this next week, obviously, but if you go to Failed to Render Comedy Club in Altspace, first of all, it's free. You don't have to buy any tickets. And you know that 2-drink minimum that you get at an actual comedy club, and you're like, oh, I'll just get a Coke. And they're like, perfect, our Cokes are $10 a piece, right? You don't have to worry about any of that shit. You go in, you see real, legit comedians that were touring that no longer can because of the virus. And you don't have to pay anything. You can tip if you would like. They have tip links, which I think is fantastic. So please do tip, right? But you don't have to go in and spend all this money for admission and drinks and all this stuff. And you get really legit comedy club performances.
It still helps to do the 2-drink minimum thing, like grab yourself a beer and throw the headset on and like kick it back while you're hanging out, or like a 2-joint minimum,
Oh, there you go. There you go. I'm down with that.
Minimum or two beer minimum. As long as you're getting fucked up when you go to the show, it'll probably help you. All right, y'all, we're going to leave.
Let's get out of here.
We love all of you guys very much. Thank you so much for being in the chat and joining us for the show today. We will see you a week from now with Kyle Render. Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys.